You are seeing this video today because your winning season is about to fucking blast off. And it all really begins with making a choice. That is the first step. But there are more than just that step when it comes to truly starting to live a life that is authentic to who it is that you are, and that starts also giving you blessings and that makes fucking miracles pop up here and there. And it's about being able to stay in alignment with a certain type of lifestyle that can bring around all of the things that it is that you want in your life. And today I'm going to share with you exactly how all of this works so that you can tap into this and start living your dream life. But without what previously seemed to always come in the way for you, because I am sure that just as it is or has been for me for the longest time, you start moving down a path where you are motivated, you are excited, things seem easy, but then after some time it would appear as if the momentum falls off and something goes wrong, and there is some sort of disconnect that's been happening here for you, where it becomes challenging or hard to understand how to move forward, because it would appear as if something went wrong. But today I'm going to show you exactly what's been going on for you during these moments where it would appear as if things are not going your way anymore and that you're moving away from what it is that you actually want, even though there might have been a period where everything kind of went easy and everything kind of was exciting and moving along smoothly, and then the dip comes. And to understand exactly what this dip really is, so that you can work with it and also come to the realization of that this dip is actually meant for you, and to understand exactly what this dip is. Okay? But first of all, in order to start your winning season, there needs to be a choice. And this choice needs to come independent of what it is that you're feeling and experiencing internally within yourself in this moment. There is never going to be a right time for the choice. You need to make a choice about what it is that you want in your life right now. And when you make that choice, you will see that the importance of this choice is simply that of what you place your focus and attention of, the universe brings more of. So perhaps previously now, up until this point of this choice that you're now making, perhaps your focus and attention was always going towards what it is that you're lacking, your issues, your worries, your doubts, always lingering in that place. And you'll see that a lot of that focus and attention that is going towards things of a lacking nature that are challenging and that are bringing just more of things that you do not truly want in your life actually comes from the fact that you've been afraid to make a choice. You've been afraid to make a choice that would enable you to have a different sort of experience to sort of naturally fall in. And if you're looking at this at the most fundamental or the most deepest level, it actually arises from us not believing that we're worthy of receiving more. Us being used to a reality that looks like this, where our doubts and our worries are, because it has been our comfort zone for the longest time, because it kept us disconnected from what it is that we're feeling. And then now immediately we come back to what I just said. This choice needs to be independent of what you're feeling, because you have to realize that all of these doubts, insecurities, worries and programs that has been running the show for so long actually comes because we care so deeply about not feeling what it is that we're feeling. And so then we also get lost in this matrix of a reality where we're living unconsciously as a byproduct, as this personality and name that you are that has these issues and problems, because we have been rejecting what it is that we're feeling and living unconsciously as a coping mechanism from not wanting to experience what is going on internally within us. And in most cases, we're not consciously aware of the fact that this is happening, because when you're unconscious, you are not aware. You're not aware even about the fact that there are very uncomfortable things always existing here within your body at this moment that is causing you to go in a direction that is not good for you, that is just more of these issues that you've been having. And this choice that you're now making, perhaps there is a choice that I want to start this YouTube channel. I want to start creating wealth for me and my family. I want to be able to help these people with this thing. Whatever thing it is that you want to be doing, to make that choice in this moment right now, despite of what your emotional state is telling you. And to understand that the emotional state is not actually telling you anything. It's just that you have convinced yourself that it is actually telling you something. You have perhaps convinced yourself over the course of your life that if I'm experiencing this, then I'm not good enough as I am. If I'm experiencing this, then that means that I need to be chasing a relationship or chasing a certain type of success or situation, because that will make me good enough. Because you're not allowing yourself to experience yourself wholly and completely in this moment, because you have this story that if I am in this way, I'm not good enough, I can't be loved. But this choice that you're now making is going to be something that is going against your programming, which is to believe that you are worthy of more in this moment, despite of what your programming has been telling you this entire time. Because when we have all of these doubts, insecurities, and worries, and so on, once again, it actually arrives from us not believing that we deserve more and that we should be a person that is struggling in connection to what's going on beneath the surface of what we are even aware of at this time. And so when you make this new choice right now in this moment that, oh, I'm going to be doing this, I'm gonna be allowing myself and giving myself the permission to go into this, you're sending a new message that I am worthy of more. I deserve more. I deserve everything. I am made for it. And so I'm making this choice in this moment, despite of where I am finding myself right now. This is the first step to moving into your winning season. Now, one of the most challenging things is to remain in alignment as you're moving through the cycles of life that so naturally occurs, even when you start making this choice. One of the things that has really been challenging for me is to understand that life is a cycle that is moving up and down like this. And if you're connected to your heart, it's kind of moving upwards like this. Okay? And so when you make this choice, you might find that initially it comes quite easy, because as you make this new choice, you'll realize that, wow, life gets exciting, and you start moving upwards because it is exciting to move out of this perhaps stagnant cycle that you've been for a while now, where you didn't give yourself the permission to go after more. Okay? So you're going to enter into this upward trend now where life starts to get more exciting, because you just finally gave yourself the permission to be here and to be who you are and to do something that you truly want to do. Okay, life is now going to get exciting. But there is going to come a point when life so naturally cycles. And one of the biggest issues that we're actually making is that as soon as it starts to cycle here, what we do not understand is that this elevated state of abundance that we created by giving ourselves the permission to go after something that we authentically enjoy and want to do actually is going to, in that space as we're doing that, going to trigger a lot of what is stored within our being, so that we can be presently one with it, move through it, and in some cases also release it, so that we make space for the new that we've been asking for. But the problem is that we think that life is supposed to be like this. We make the choice and then boom, and it's just a straight uphill for the rest of our life. There finally comes a moment where everything comes around, and now it's just uphill, 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 uphill. But that is not the truth. Life is always like this. And it's very important to understand that even as you're making this choice to start being this new person that is more aligned with your authentic and higher self, that the dip is gonna come. And this dip is part of the alignment of the universe. So when you come to this dip, what do we usually do? We say, oh my god, something went wrong. I felt so good here. Everything was moving smoothly. And now like the dip is coming and now something is wrong. I fucked up. I did something bad. And now we're going with the dip and think that the dip is something that shouldn't be happening. And then after a while, as we are in this dip, where perhaps our inspiration is not the same, we're feeling a little bit confused, we don't really understand what we're doing in this moment, to understand that this is exactly what you've been asking for from the beginning. This dip is coming to making space for the new. This dip is always gonna be coming in your life to make space for the new. Okay? So it is extremely important, as this dip is coming, that we now just shift our awareness into, oh, I understand now that this doesn't feel as light and as perhaps exciting as it did the day before what I was doing. That doesn't mean that I did something wrong. It doesn't mean that something is not going as it should be going. And that I am exactly and perfectly where I am supposed to be. And now comes another very important part. And that is to understand that the reason that we actually get so afraid of this point and why it becomes so challenging is because we're so attached to the ego. Okay? And the ego is of course not something that is real. We're attaching ourselves to our personality and the name that we have, and we see ourselves as this person with these issues and these challenges and these problems. But an extremely helpful thing to do here as the dip is arising is to understand that, first of all, I don't understand from the human level how this is helping me, which is why it becomes so challenging. I do not understand how me feeling in this way could be of benefit to me. And it's not for you to understand. This is where the difficult part comes, which is that of trust. Trusting that this part right here is meant for you. And this part right here is actually what is going to allow you to move into even higher possibilities for your life. You need these parts. And they're beautifully exactly as they should be. Okay? The problem is that if we're going here and we come to this point, and then the cycle sort of naturally as it does fluctuates, and we come to this point and then panic and say that it's wrong and we're not supposed to be here and we did something that isn't right, or things should have been going in this direction now after the choice. That the problem is that as soon as this cycle, now that we're falling down here a little bit in this cycle, when it starts coming to this point again, we don't give ourselves the permission anymore because we think we fucked up here. And now it's like, oh, I can never get what I want. I'm not supposed to have what I want. And now, when the cycle naturally starts to turn around again, we're back here where we started. We're only giving ourselves the permission to kind of follow the rate up, the wave upwards. And then when it starts getting downwards, I fucked up, I failed, I can't do it. And then as we're riding down here, like, oh, it's not meant to be here, I guess it's not meant for me. And then when it comes here, and it's time to consciously take action and move forward and give ourselves the permission to move with our newfound energy and realizations and clarity that came around from this period of giving space, that we don't give ourselves the permission anymore. And now this upward cycle kind of turns into a blip. All of this time, I believed that this downward cycle shouldn't happen. And because I believed that it shouldn't happen, I thought that I failed in some sense. And then when it so naturally starts to fluctuate up again, I no longer had the permission that I initially gave myself. Because I fucked up somewhere around here. In this natural part of how the universe works. I was living in a reality that wasn't true, that said that life goes like this. You make a choice, you start living differently, and then it's from uphill from there. That is never going to be the case, my friend. And life was never about that being the case. It was always about finding peace in the down cycle. Finding the peace in the down cycle. That's what you always were looking for. Seeing that you're whole, worthy, and complete, even in this cycle here. And what becomes simple when it comes to letting go in this part is to understand that, oh, I am the awareness. And I am giving, as the awareness, space for, in my case, Andreas to exist here. As if everything was perfectly fine to begin with. It was never about coming to a point where it went like this. It was always about finding balance and peace through the shifting cycles. in the ups and the downs. Realizing that even the up is no more or less important than the down. Because during this down period, the elevated state of abundance that you're starting to create for yourself triggers internally within yourself what is holding you back to move into even deeper heights or higher heights. They're one and the same, taking you upwards, slowly. And this is why your winning cycle hasn't yet begun. Because you had the wrong perspective about how all of this works. And you thought that at some point during this cyclical sort of journey that you're on, that at one point I'm doing well and one point I'm not doing well. When in reality you were always exactly where you were supposed to be. It's just that you didn't give yourself the permission to come into that realization or to find peace in those moments. It's about understanding the pattern of your life and finding peace with it. No matter where it is that you are in the pattern of the cycle that you're in for your life. And just being one with it. Being one with the joy and excitement as you're moving upwards. Enjoying the fuck out of it. Having the permission to go after the things that truly gives you joy and excitement. And then when it starts to plateau and starts going downwards, then to give yourself the permission to be as you are. And something that is extremely important in that is that you don't have to focus so much on doing conscious practices, and I need to work a lot on like giving myself space and things here. Like, no, you don't truly need to do anything. You just need to live presently. You just need to be here. Just focus a little bit here perhaps, and just realize that there's a tension here, and there's like, breathe into it. Realize that, oh, if there is something that comes light to me during these days, perhaps talking to friends, family, then go for that. If going into the forest and walking brings you some sort of lightness during this day, then go for that. You realize that on some days there's no lightness to be had. It's just challenging and painful, and that's okay. It's supposed to be like that. This means that you're in the right place. And it's not about trying to change that. It's about being one with that. Seeing it as inherently exactly as it should be. That was the shift that you were looking for all your life. Not the choice and then straight off into the sunset, but finding peace with the downhill. That's what you were looking for this entire time. Not that. So let's do a little just quick recap. It all begins with a choice, and the choice has to be done in this moment despite of what you're feeling. Okay? Now, as you begin to do or make this choice, the intention is in place and the universe starts bringing to you information, it starts bringing to you inspiration to flow with what it is that you have chosen for yourself. It's just the natural state of the universe. Where your intention is placed, you feed and get more of. So if your intention, for example, is to be a certain type of person, you'll find that more tools and things starts to move into your experience of life to make it happen. You start getting new ideas, things just starts to kind of flow, to get effortless. And then, as that happens, you're going to start moving upwards on this journey. And then you're also going to find yourself going with the cycles of life again. And then it's about finding peace here with this downward trend and not seeing it as inherently good or bad, but just seeing it for being what it is. And then you're moving with the cycle in peace and alignment. And then you start moving up again, and then you still have the permission in place the entire journey to start moving upwards again. And now you're just part of the cycle, moving upwards with life, as you were always looking to be a part of. But here you started believing, I'm not good enough for it, I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Of course, the ego comes into the picture. And then it's important to understand that the ego is not even real. You don't even exist. Oh. Okay, so if I don't exist, none of these issues and problems and stories and beliefs that made this part challenging don't exist either. I can exist as the awareness and be aware. Okay, it's challenging here. I feel tension in my chest. I wake up perhaps a little bit in pain or whatever it is. I feel these emotions of shame, they're moving through me. And I'm not trying to change them anymore. Now you're free. And your winning season is just gonna snowball into something truly amazing.